anything goes. Our 4-star team elite platinum and 4-year team elite, Dean Win from the United States of America.
Thank you. Imagine you go to the airport, approaching the counter and ask for the airline ticket. And the agent behind the counter asks you, where do you want to go? And you say, I don't know. That's how we approach life and business. My name is Dean Nguyen from North Carolina, USA. Originally, I'm from Vietnam. When I was young, my dad taught me all the time. There is no such thing called luck. In order to become successful in anything you want to do, there are 3 steps. 1, aim. 2nd, ready. And 3rd, fire. And again, I remember vividly about what he taught me. 1st, aim. 2nd, ready. And 3rd, fire. In 1978, we came to the United States with a family of 7, with only $21 in our pocket. The reason I remember 21 because I was 21 years old in 1978. The next day, my uncle brought me to the shopping center to buy shoes. And it happened that right at the door of the shopping center, there's a store that they sell TVs. And I remember that's the Radio Shack. I look at the TV at the windows, and I never seen any TV that good, look really nice in my life before. So I turned around and asked my uncle, how come those TVs so expensive? He looked at me and he said, no, it's not expensive. It's because you don't have money. And somehow it struck me right at that moment. I make a decision that I hate to be poor. I got to be rich in America. The next day, he brought me to the college in Northern California. He dropped me right in front of the building. He said, get into the building and wait for me to park the car. I just stood there in front of the building for about 4 or 5 minutes until he came and he said, Dean, how come you don't get into the building? I told him that in our country, in order to get into any buildings, you have to have the permission. Usually with the guard with a gun right at the door. He said, no, this is America. Any doors in America have either pull or push. You don't have to ask for the permission at all. And I turned to him and I said, wow, this only in America. Because we don't have to ask permission to do anything. And that's the first lesson that I learned on the first day in America. 4 or 5 hours later, we went to the cafeteria. I went there and sat down and waited. So he turned to me and he said, Dean, get up, get the food and pay at the door. Because in America, nobody serves you. You know what? In our country, there's no such thing called self-service. You have to sit there and wait for somebody to come and serve. And that is another lesson that I learned in America, that you can do whatever you want to do if you make a decision and pay the price. And that's the lesson that I learned earlier. So from those lessons, I set the goals, went to college, finished the degree in Bachelor, Computer Science, and get the MBA to work for the big corporation. One day, in 1989, I walked into the room of my boss, and I dropped the reports, which is I do every day. It happened on that day, I walked into the room, and it happened as I saw the check on his desk. That is my boss' desk. I look at the check because I cannot help. You know, usually we don't want to look at the check of my boss, right? Our boss, right? But I cannot help because it's right in front of me. I should look at it. And I saw the number. And it shocked me because he was 14 years ahead of me and he earned a little bit more than my paycheck. At that moment, I decided that I don't want to go to work for anybody because I don't want to spend another 14 years to earn just a little bit more. And that's the decision. I make a decision to set the goal that I want to start my own business and become successful, which I did. In 1993, prior to New Skin, I was with another network marketing company. In 1996, 3 years after I joined, I brought my wife to the convention, which similar to this one. I sat all the way to the back with the audience of almost 20,000 people, and I sat there for 3 days, and my wife sat next to me. I just patiently clapped hands for people. You know, most of my friends who joined the same time with me or after me, he got on stage, get all the rewards, and I sat all the way back and just clapped hands. At the end of the session, which is Sunday, my wife turned to me and said, "Honey, I cannot imagine you have patience to clap hands for people in the last 3 days." I said, "No, honey, it's 3 years already. I have been doing it for 3 years." She said, "From today, I will close down my business and I join you, and I want you next year get on the stage." Right at that moment, I make a decision that I will do something so I can be on the stage the next year. 6 months later, we got into the top of the company. So in the year 2000, we was able to retire the family as an age of 43, sorry. So I just want to tell you that a lot of time you don't make goals because you have not made a decision. Some of you come here today still half in, half out. You still thinking that let me try this business for a few months to see what happens. You know what? I married my wife because I make a decision I want to marry her and stay with her for the rest of my life. I never thought about let me try to marry this lady for 3 months to see what happens. No. Especially this business with that way. Let's try it. I think before you make a goals, the reason a lot of us don't have goals because you have not made a decision yet. So you better do one. Right 2 months before I joined New Skin in 2009, on the New Year's Eve, we sat on the table for dinner, the whole family, and I look at my daughters. They are 23 and 21 now. I look at them and I love them dearly. And I suddenly, right at that moment, I decided to live until I'm 120. Because I want to see my daughters when they're 90s to see what happened. You know, right at that moment, I decided to live until 120. So I go out and bought all the books. I bought all the vitamins on the shelves. I even make my email address deanwin120@gmail.com. Don't send it to that email again. But because I make a decision that I want to live until I'm 120, so on February 2009, a friend of mine called and mentioned about New Skin. I talked to her on the phone, but I went Google and I searched for the company. And I saw the so-called age lock and anti-aging. So guess what? It doesn't take me long to make a decision. And I set the goals with my family to become the team elite. So it did not take us long to become a team elite. And actually it's a 4-star team elite platinum on the first year and the second year. So I'm here today to ask every one of you here to make a decision right now, today, before we leave tomorrow. Because some of you still have not made a decision. We know that. Or maybe some of you say, maybe we come here, this is the last time we come to the convention to say goodbye to friends. Maybe. You have to make a decision. In 2015, some of you here got to get on the stage. You have to make a decision. You want to become a star. Become the star to ladies. Become the star, duplicate star, multiply star. You have to do that. Make a decision, please. You owe to yourself and your family a decision. Become financially independent. It's not a dream anymore. It can be a decision. As long as you make a decision today, set the goal, and I know for sure you will make it. And 2015, we all come here and be on stage. Will you?
Yes.